Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
So, I remember when I was growing up, my mom was really big about us being heard. Share your voice. When I was little, I'd say probably around the age of 4, I used to sing in the choir. Now, I wasn't really supposed to sing in the big kids choir because I was kind of young, but people just looked forward to it on Sunday because they would be like, oh, she has such a big voice. Well, my mom inspired us to have voices, my sister and myself. And so I'm a big advocate of people being heard. Everyone should be heard. That doesn't always happen. And let's be honest, 2020 has been a year. It's been a year that has tested many, from healthcare all the way down to loss of life. And now more than ever, people want to be heard. They need to be heard. They need to know that someone's listening to them. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way. So whether people feel like they're living vicariously through another person or they're trying to find their voice so that they can be heard, it's important to be heard. And if you're anyone, unless you're stuck under a rock, for my people that are listening in the United States, November's election, 2020, baby. We're coming up on election time. And that means people's voices need to be heard. We've had some debates. We've had the first debate with the president and the presidential hopeful candidate. And then we had the vice presidential debate. For those of you who are my regular listeners, whether it's on social media or it's, on my podcast, I typically don't discuss politics. And that's not because I don't have a firm belief in what I believe in, but because I'm so big on dialogue and people's voices being heard. There are certain things that I don't talk about in general because I want the dialogue to continue. And if you do too much dialogue about too many topics at one time, sometimes I believe you're stunting the voices of the people that actually could be adding to the conversation and creating more meaningful dialogue. So I mention politics now because it does need to be talked about, and in a way where people can actually take it in for what they see for face value. I don't think that's happening a lot of times. When you look at the news, it doesn't matter what news source, what media source, people are going to say what they want to say, and other people are going to hear only what they want to hear. During the debates, there was a lot of things said. I'm not going to go into all of it, but there was a lot of things said on both sides that you have to pay attention to. These people have a voice, and so do you. Now, this is kind of like a mashup because of, this is a mashup. Just know that, because I'm making this part of my podcast and I made another part of a video and then I'm combining them. So on this episode of the Silver Fox Journal podcast, we're going to be talking about how important it is to find your voice. Voice, choice, choose wisely. Are you ready? Let's go. Well, it's funny because I have my coffee drink. Let me take a sip, tell you. And I went to go pour it. And I picked it up and I was getting ready to put it in the mug that is branded. And I was like, no, let's not do that. The more I'm on social media, I realize you just got to be real careful with the products that you use. But now I just got my boosted coffee. So I ran across a video last night and I had heard about it, but I intentionally did not watch the election. Not the election. I intentionally did not watch the debates. Now, I kind of got bullied. I got deboed into watching, not really directly watching the debate, but my sister was watching and she was just like, do you see this? It's ridiculous. She was like, that was a good point. She was doing those things. But when it came down to seeing it, I just couldn't do it. I'm a feeler, and the environment, the universe is just so bogged down with negative energy and nervous energy that I made a decision that I wanted to walk into whatever I saw on my terms. So if I decided I want to watch the whole thing, I would. If I wanted to see bits and pieces of it, because ultimately, whatever decision I make, people show their character without being on a debate stage. That's just my opinion. That's just the way I believe. But so I ran across these videos, and the videos were talking about Kamala Harris and how fit she would be as vice president based on how she interacted with Vice President Pence while they were doing the vice presidential debate. And one of the biggest things that came up was her facial expressions and her body language. And I remember looking at that and I was like, so we're doing this now. And I just felt like this overwhelming need to say what was on my mind at that time and not edit it. And so the reason I'm making this portion, that's why I said it's kind of like a mashup. The reason why I'm making this portion is for the purpose of context. So basically what's going on is I am recording from watching a video, and it starts.
Expressions and the way she behaved were really off-putting.
She could do a little more than make these awkward smiles.
Let's break this down to its barest root cause. You ready? Let's go. There are people in the world, but let's talk about the United States. There are people, men and women alike, regardless of race, that do not like to see women in positions of power and authority. They can't stand it. It frightens them. So when you think about it, when you see women in positions of power and authority, the first thing they do is they look at their clothes. Well, why would she wear those slacks? Well, are those heels? She either looks like a school marm or a streetwalker. It will never be good enough. Remove the fact of the power and authority. Many people don't even want to see a woman in position of power. So let's go ahead, regardless of race. So let's just go ahead and leave that there. Now let's complicate it a little more. Let's throw in that pesky thing called melanin. Melanin. Sprinkle all the melanin in it, and then it takes it to another level. I'm not even going to go into the angry black woman narrative. I've spoken about that before. I'm done with that. But that's what happens. The narrative surrounding women of color, but black women in this country, is that we're angry and that we're emotional. Sound familiar? Because they say that about women in general, but we're angry. No, what it really is you don't want a woman anywhere near a position of power. And then she's a black woman, which is often confusing to me, because whether it came from the days of slavery, when black women were wet nurses and that cleaned the homes and bore the brunt of not only the families of master in the big house, but also the brunt of her own family as she had to survive. We have carried this country on our backs and in our bellies for hundreds of years. But that's not good enough. Okay. I don't think none of it would be good enough, ever. Number one, because a woman in the White House is a woman in the White House. It wouldn't matter if she was a Latina, if she was indigenous. It wouldn't matter. A white woman in the White House makes people nervous. Our ovaries, our reproductive organs make you that nervous? What should make you nervous is a man or a woman that does not have the ability or the temperament to run a country. That should make you nervous. You know that American pride thing that we're supposed to have where there's all equality for everyone, men and women, black and white. All of this equality that people keep talking about. You know, that whole American true grit that says, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And then the second a woman and then a woman of color does it, it's still not good enough. That makes no sense to me. I will say this much. Any woman that pulls herself up by her bra straps is good enough for me. But then again, I have bra straps. And so do millions of other powerful American women of all races. And that should be good enough for America. But I guess that's just not, because she made a face. People make faces all the time. People in the White House make faces all the time. People in the grocery store, in CEO boardrooms, in classrooms make faces all the time. Ooh, it's evident that change needs to happen. And I keep hearing people say, but we need a change. Really? Americans don't want change. A lot of Americans do, but some really don't want things to change. They don't want them to change because then that takes away their power and authority. So then who wins? Really, who wins? See, that's the good thing about this country. You can choose. A black man couldn't be in the White House. A white woman couldn't be in the White House. A transgender person can't be in the White House. A Christian, a Muslim can't be in the White House. Who can be in the White House? Who? Because aren't all those Americans? Look, we don't have to see eye to eye on everything. That's never going to happen because we're all individual human beings with different beliefs. But we need to come together on something. Because what's going on now hasn't worked and it doesn't now. So again, you have a voice and you have a choice. Choose wisely. When I recorded that last night, I'm not an angry person, but I can't get irritated and I am passionate. I think there's people need to learn the difference between anger and passion. I was actually thinking about making a podcast about that. That's a whole other story. I digress. But I think people need to know the difference. And I think it's important for people to know the difference because important content and lessons get lost when people feel like they're being attacked by something. I mean, you know, if you mistake someone's passion for anger, and you're like, I'm not dealing with anger, you're not going to hear anything they're saying. What frustrated me was, number one, as a woman, I recognize and have been in situations where I've been dismissed sheerly because I'm a woman. The first thing that popped in my mind wasn't that I was a black woman. It was because I was a woman. And then when you get in certain contexts, you recognize that wonderful thing that I love and many people the world over love, that melanin just adds to it. Just like I said in that portion of my recording. It waters down facts. It waters down what has to happen. And that's the dialogue. So people are worried about somebody frowning their face up a little bit or kind of like, but the thing is, people do that all the time. That does not change their ability to discuss the facts. See, what happens is when people say it's back down to that passion or anger thing, where it's like, if you're interpreting someone's facial expressions as anger, then you don't want to hear anything they have to say. Think about this for just a minute. Your partner or your children, you're listening to them and you're like, what the? Or you do your eyes like this. Does that make you necessarily respect them any less or want to have that conversation with them any less? No. Everybody shows their emotions differently. Some people check their emotions in a way where maybe their facial expressions are the way they are. I'm not speaking for her. I don't know why she did it. But what I do know is I'm a very communicative person. I use my eyes a lot and I kind of twist my face up a lot. That's one of the things that I think that's one of the biggest things that made me go, because I know that I have a voice, that I have things to share. I know that my ability to make things relatable to people and help them see it in a different way should never be masked because I do something bug-eyed or something. I mean, it doesn't change the facts. It doesn't change the the opportunity for me to help impact someone's life or someone to impact mine. I think we get lost in things that don't really matter in the overall scheme of things. So what does the rest of the election look like? I don't know. But I do know as long as we continue to ignore the fact of what root causes are happening, and I'm saying this because this is the root cause for this. Now, that doesn't mean people not wanting to see women in positions of power can't affect other issues, social issues that we have. But I'm using this as an example that people would use facial expressions to remove the real reason why you don't want somebody to do something. I mean, some people could say, well, you're being feminist. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's not the point. The point still remains, especially all these people who are talking, I want the facts, but won't be the one to go look the facts up. They won't be the one to sit down and talk to someone who may actually have the facts. They won't actually take the time to look past facial expressions and look to what the real issues are. They didn't find their voice, or they're choosing not to. Let me be fair. They may be choosing not to use their voice. And therein lies the rub. So whether you choose to vote or not, whatever side you choose to vote for, use your voice. Share some conversation with people if you're up to it. I mean, I think, like I said, I have just not been able, the energy has just been so off for me, but I do share my voice when I can. And I encourage others to do the same. And even if sharing your voice isn't, standing at the polls and handing out flyers or, going social distance. Can we talk about social distancing? Or going somewhere and having a conversation with someone. It can happen in your home. You can make a phone call. Hey, let's talk about this. How are you feeling about the election? How are you feeling about what the end of the year is going to be like when we go into 2021 with COVID-19? Like, how are you feeling about things? What do you need? What do you think we need as a society? We'll talk about what Kim Kardashian's doing. We'll talk about the latest Gucci shoes. We'll talk about that 2021 whatever car. But we can't talk about the real issues that affect us every day. Because if we took all of our clothes off our back, if we trashed all the cars at every dealership, got rid of all cell phones, ultimately, the only thing we really have left is our voice. It's our choice. Choose wisely. And as usual, you could have spent the last 18-ish, 19 minutes anywhere else with anyone else in the world. But you chose to spend that time with me, and I'm forever grateful. See you and hear you and speak to you next time on the Silver Fox Journal Podcast.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.